Yo, 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 what it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 97 of the Uncommon Commentators. I'm your boy Antoine. This is my main man Garrett. And we're just here to break down the NBA All-Star Game. It's the 75th NBA All-Star Games taking place in Los Angeles. And we got, a litany of topics to talk about. But before we get to it, I always got to ask my man how he's feeling. How you been, Garrett? I know you've been, man, waiting for this All-Star break. The Hawks finally
Sir.
got like a week off or something like that. So that's both
Yep.
of us getting a break. So how do you feel about this NBA All-Star weekend, man? But first off, how you been?
Doing pretty good, man. Same old, writing articles and excited to see our guy Jalen Johnson make his very first All-Star appearance. And of course, Zachary Richie will be in the Rising Stars game. But yeah, I'm very excited for this All-Star weekend. It's going to be super unique, especially with the All-Star game, and especially when we see USA team versus Team World. So it's definitely going to be a different scenery. So very excited about it, bro.
Yeah, me and you both. Yeah, man. Like you already know, the first topic is the All Star. It'd be remiss if we didn't get into it off the top. I like it. First and foremost with the location this year, it is in Los Angeles. It's at the Intuit Dome, so they're gonna get to finally show off the Intuit Dome for those that don't get to really watch the Clippers like that and stuff. So I am intrigued to see how they're gonna do the spectacle. I've been on record saying that I do think that the Intuit Dome does have the best NBA presentation in the entirety of the NBA. Steve Ballmer put like, I think it was like $1 billion investment into building the arena. So if not a billion, it was definitely close to it. For sure. And I think ever since the building's inception, I think it served its purpose over in Inglewood. I think the Clippers have really found their identity really in part two, the Intuit Dome. This with like the logo, like the cruise ship. And they're like the only NBA arena to have like that circular jumbotron, to have multiple different screens of the jumbotron. And yeah, like I got a friend who works for the Clippers. She told me that they have like these basketball courts that fans can hoop on before
Mm.
and after the games. Like they'll have like balls set up with the racks and stuff like that. And she told me fans will be out there hooping and stuff either before or after the game because those courts don't shut off until an hour after the game is over. So the Intuit
Mm.
Dome really has made a mark in the short time that it has been here. Like I said, I am a massive fan of it. I think it's here to stay, for certain. And I think, it's just scratching the surface of what it's really capable of. And I think we're finally going to get a taste of that this weekend with the NBA All-Star game. But before we even get into the NBA All-Star weekend itself, just how do you feel about the teams this year? The format. We got the world team versus the USA again, but this time it's three teams with the USA stars and stripes, and we got the world team that has all the international superstars. So starting off with the format, how'd you feel about the three-team format and the jerseys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it will be very exciting. I think this All Star weekend will be very unique because the formatting is different compared to what it has been for years. It's not a traditional All Star game, so you're talking about, like I mentioned with Team USA and Team World and things of that nature. So I think you will get a better competition, in my opinion. I think it's going to be more balanced per se because you're seeing players, even though he's not playing, but Giannis and Jokic together, even though, like I said, Giannis is not playing, but you'll still see players like, Jokic and Shea, together, even though they play in the same conference anyways, but it would be where, you would have, potentially Joel Embiid or, um, somebody else. So can't really think of the names off of my head, but like I said, it's not where you're going to be seeing. You'll see East versus West in a way, but like I said, just seeing guys going out there and just competing on a higher level per se. So more unique way, but no, I think it'll be very exciting. So uh, I'm just more interested to see how people will react to it because it's not something that we've seen before. So this is a real switch up, and I don't know if will continue or if it will, um, or they'll say, "Hey, we're just going to stick to the old stuff." East versus West, and keep it traditional. But I'm very excited for it. So just waiting to see how it all plans out, and I think it'll be a great All Star weekend. So
Yeah, me and you both. Like we got 6 first-time All-Stars this time around. We've had multiple replacements, dudes making appearances that haven't been in the All-Star games in like, quite a few years. De'Aaron Fox, he made it this year. This year he's replacing Giannis Antetokounmpo. Last time he played in the All-Star game, it was like 2023 for the Kings. So it's definitely been a little bit for De'Aaron Fox throughout that time. He has not slowed down in the slightest. So it was pretty interesting to see him get snubbed just year after year like that.
yeah,
I know Sacramento was losing for the most part. So I guess that's really the only reason why De'Aaron Fox was getting snubbed. But now at 27 years old, he's in a powerhouse in San Antonio. So I think from here on out, we will see De'Aaron Fox like make the All-Star team in the West, at least as a reserve. I'd be surprised if they take Wemby and they leave his co-star All-Star point guard. So, we got De'Aaron Fox back in the All-Star game. Our boy Jalen Johnson is here, like how you mentioned. Then you have Dija is here. But we lost some guys too. Like I said, Giannis isn't playing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander isn't playing. Actually, I think Shai is playing. Yeah. He is playing, I believe.
ooh,
But we
Shay.
got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I thought I saw somewhere that he had an injury with the All-Star.
Yeah,
He's playing.
I don't think he'll. Yeah, because come to think, I don't think he'll be there. Honestly,
Yeah, because he has like an asterisk
yeah, I
next
don't
to his
think he'll.
name.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he'll
Be
play.
suiting up.
But now it's coming back to me. So yeah, so like I said before with Team World, like I mentioned, you'll have SGA there. Giannis, we know is not going to be there, but of course. I mean, really, and most of Team World is out of the Western Conference, so that's what kind of makes it crazy. But I mean, there's only like a few guys from the East that will be on Team World as far as Cad and Pascal Siakam. So I mean, like I said, it's not too much of a change, but it's still where you have some guys from the East that play with Team World. But I think it would be interesting to see. Maybe I think it would be crazy to see how Jokic and Towns play together because we know Jokic. He's one of the best facilitators as a big man. We know Karl Anthony Towns. He'll light it up. So um,
Mhm.
yeah.
I agree, most definitely. And yeah, even looking at this cast of characters, I do think it does make for a good game. Really competitive, super high level, a lot of flashy playmakers, a lot of flashy athletic dunkers. And I think it's just a matter of them taking it serious. And that's really been the biggest criticism of the All-Star game. We saw them a couple years ago. I think it's when I think that the East won that year. Nah, the West won. Because LeBron, I think, yeah, they won that year and the West they won by like 2 points. And it was in like they did announce that they were gonna have like $100,000 win bonus for the team that won. That was like 2 days prior to the game, and you saw the players really take it serious for the first time in a long time. But given my take on the format, I like it. The 3 teams, like how you mentioned, most of those players are coming out of the West with the USA Stripes team, and even with like the USA Stars, it's a lot of young players on this team, like Jalen Duren, like Chet Holmgren, like Tyrese Maxey, like Jalen Johnson. It also has the shortest roster as well, so I am interested to see how that's going to play out. Looking at the rosters and thinking about which one I favor on paper, it has to be the West. Like it has to be because you have you have Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns, and Victor Wembanyama all on the same team. Giannis is not playing, so you can take him off there. But I think this with those four, it's a really, 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 really strong four. Even with having Wemby
Yeah.
down low to play defense, like Jokic, he's Loki the best scorer outside of Luka on that team. So I think they have defensive and offensive firepower when it comes to that roster. So that's probably the team that I like the most in terms of the All-Star game is the world team. And even with the whole All-Star weekend, it's pretty interesting because we have a whole slate. And this year is pretty cool because I do like some of the people they chose for like the All-Star celebrity game and stuff like that. To
Mhm.
start now, we got for the 3-point contest, the celebrity one. It's going to be
Now I want I'm sorry, you think
Mm,
about that.
you're fine.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Do something about
I
something
was gonna
different.
say, like, yeah, just three people. It's gonna be Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, Jerry McCain for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the retired NBA champion Richard Jefferson, and
Mm,
Drewski in the celebrity
mm.
3-point contest. Yeah.
Now, speaking of the 3 point contest, it's kind of funny though, because I think it's a good lineup. Honestly, you have Devin Booker, Con Kunipple, who's been lighting it up this year.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Bobby Portis, Norman Powell. But I'm trying to figure out, how did Damian Lillard jump into that when he hasn't even played not one game all year? Like, he was shut down. I mean, he was shut down really for the entire year.
Most
And
part.
so he just like pop up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be an all-star weekend of some sort." But I mean, just to him to just go in and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna join the 3 point contest. We haven't played all year." I didn't know you could actually do that though. But I mean, who you think is gonna win the 3 point contest? Because I have about because you have, I mean, all of them can shoot. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, between Jamal Murray, Nipple, Dame, and Devin Booker, I don't know. That
I
that's
probably
probably one of the hardest lineups. I mean, toughest lineups we've seen in a
in a
minute.
while. I
So,
agree. I agree. You got multiple 40% 3-point shooters. Damian Lillard's one of the greatest 3-point shooters ever. So,
mhm.
um, especially in the clutch. So that's probably who I would have to favor. Even at 35 years old, I think Damian is the best player out of all those players. Even including like Devin Booker and stuff like that. I still think Damian really still plays at a really high level. And I do think he will win that 3-point contest. Throughout his career, he's been a sniper from three, even whether hitting game winners, fading threes, anything like that. I just think his shooting touch, he probably does have the best shooting touch out of that entire quintet of shooters. But if not Damian, I think it might be Con Knepel. He's been shooting the
Yeah, I
ball
was about to
great.
say that's my pick. I
He's been
got Con.
shooting for
Yeah.
real, like, and I honestly don't blame you because like he's been shooting the ball in a great way. Even as a rookie, I think that's gonna help him just going out there not having any pressure. It's his first year. They expect him to do kind of bad, off the nerves and stuff like that. So I think he's exceeded expectation halfway through this season. And I do think that he might be the runner up. He's probably my second pick to go along with you. That's what I would say. But I do like it. And even with the all-star celebrity game, this is probably the thing that I do want to see the most just because of the players, some of the people on it. Like Keegan Michael Key, from those of y'all who watch Key and Peele and stuff like that. I've always loved his stuff. They also got Phoenix Suns chairman Matt Ishbia, and Charlotte Hornets co-chairman and Governor Rick Schnell. So those guys are going to be suiting up and playing in the game, just to try to, add to the festivities. But the person I want to see the most suit up is number one himself, ESPN NBA insider Sham Sharani. He will be touching the floor
Mm.
on the world stage for the first time ever in his career. And I'm really excited to see how he's gonna perform. And I really loved it because like they asked him on ESPN, like, how are you gonna how are you gonna play? And he objectively broke down his game. He can handle the ball, he can shoot it. He's I think Shams is like 5'7", 5'8", or something like that. So he's definitely gonna be playing the point guard for sure. But how do you feel about the all-star celebrity game? Do you feel like it's too much of a gimmick seeing dudes you watch on TV try to play basketball and stuff like that? Or do you like seeing dudes, comedians, actors, and actresses be able to play basketball like that?
Yeah, I like the celebrity game. Even though I don't really watch it that much, but I think it is entertaining when you're seeing celebrities go out there and play, against other entertainers. I think that is puts a nice touch on it in the All Star game or All Star weekend rather. So you've seen players like Drewski, who's going to be playing, Kevin Hart. I think
He
Justin
is
Bieber has
playing.
played. Yeah, so you have guys that are high influencers around the entertainment industry. So to see them compete for against one another, I think it makes it even more entertaining for All Star Weekend. So Like I said, there's always been multiple concepts around the All Star Weekend that has been entertaining, that has been successful, and you have seen those that have not. But I think the celebrity game has always been one of those that's been quite successful for a minute. So I would say just keep it going. And but yeah, I think this one would definitely be good. I bet definitely gonna be excited to see Drewski because I know that he likes to joke around and stuff. But yeah, we'll see what he'll do on the court.
No, I agree. And like for me personally, I think the more they do this, the better All-Star Weekend will become. It's a part of it, man. Like really adding to the festivities, doing stuff that you don't normally do. And I think seeing celebrities play basketball is one of the best things they could do for the game. I didn't even know. I forgot that Kevin Hart will be playing in the game. Indeed, they even got Glorilla. She's supposed to play. DJ Mustard supposed to play. I mean, it really is truly interesting. Like they got Taco Fall out there, so I mean, they're just adding in fan favorites
Oh, Taco
and
Fall making the
rappers.
game. Mm,
Mhm. For real. And like, yeah, the whole 7'6" legend, of course. And then I guess like, yeah, if I had to say the ones I want to see the most, it probably would be Glorilla and Drewski. I just want to see how she's gonna approach the game, if she's gonna wear makeup and stuff like that, if she's gonna, really be trying to get down and get dirty out there on
mm,
the court. We know she's dating
yeah.
Brennan Ingram now, so it's not surprising to see her, well, the NBA really scoop her up like that. And same stuff. We got the skills challenge and all that. Same shit. It's the shooting stars. That's what they replaced it with. I do like seeing the shooting stars challenge. I've always enjoyed that. I mean, not shooting stars, the skills challenge. So I am interested to see what the shooting stars will be like. I'm pretty sure Jalen Johnson is in that event as well.
Hmm.
So I am interested to see how he'll take that. He's really a star now, so it's gonna be cool to see him really get that love. And before we end off on the All Star break, one of the interesting things I did want to discuss, I see that it starts at 5 o'clock in the afternoon this time around. That's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it's not even nighttime, it's not even 6 o'clock yet, and they're starting the All Star game. You feel me? That's 2 p.m. in Los Angeles. So I can't tell you why they want to have the game so early. But if you could come up with the reason why do you think they want to have the game so early? I found that really bizarre.
Honestly, I don't even know. I think you honestly catch a better vibe when it's in the evening or at nighttime, honestly. But
Late at night.
I guess they just want to start it sooner, obviously. But I guess it's more so from a convenience standpoint. I'm assuming. Um, that's my theory on it. But because with the LA traffic, I guess they just want to make sure they are able to start things off at a decent time and get out at a decent time because the LA traffic, even though I'm not from there, but being out there a couple of times, it can be rough. So, but yeah, I guess that's why they decided to do it. But then again, I think for the All Star weekend, I think, like I said, you catch a different vibe when it's at nighttime. But I mean, hey, they like I said, they've been trying a lot of things new, so I guess they decided to see how the new time fits for everybody.
And yeah, like that's really all I had to say. It's the 75th All Star game. It happens every year. And it's pretty cool because like the teams aren't even allowed to practice during the All Star
Mm,
break. You literally have to rest. It is a break. All 30 teams take a break outside of the All Stars, of course, but that's a privilege to play in that game on Sunday. You
mm.
get a lot of those appearances, it will make you a Hall of Famer. So I am interested to see how many of these players this year that we will see next year. I do guarantee that we will see our boy Jalen Johnson in there next year, in the year after that, in the year after that, as he's only 24 years old, averaging
Anthony
the
for
numbers that
three.
he is.
Bang! That one goes
Uh,
down. Anthony for three. Bang!
Most definitely. Yeah, and like even then, our boy Anthony Edwards, Atlanta native, he is in there as well. So I do think this All-Star game will be the best one we've had in a pretty long time. I like the rosters. The formatting is cool. It's interesting. We'll see how it works out. The shooting star is interesting. I love the celebrity game. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, honestly, just the spectacle. And yeah, man, I think they're still trying to find new ways to improve. And Adam Silver's catching a lot of flack because people think he might be doing too much. But I do like it. I like the way it's set up this year. From the players on the court to the stars that are showing up. So before we end off on the All-Star break, how'd you feel about it as a whole? And do you think there's anything you'd want to see change for next year?
I've been more conservative, honestly, when it comes to the All Star Weekend. I think all the activities that they do, or for the concepts they put together, they've always been pretty good to me, honestly. I think the only thing that people may want to see at some point is a one-on-one competition matchup.
King of
That's
the
something
court.
that's been, yeah, that's something that's been talked about for a minute. So we've talked about seeing players like Kyrie Irving, being in it because he's one of the best ball handlers that we've seen, in all time of the NBA. And so guys like that, and of course other types of guys. But I think that's one thing that people have been wanting to see. Um I'm pretty sure, and that's something that can come into fruition at some point. Uh, but no, I think that's the only thing that I would like to see. But everything else, I think has been pretty good, and I like how the NBA is just being innovative, being able to try new things to see what works and see what can stay and what can go. So
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, if I had to, if somebody were to ask me, then yeah, that would be the only thing, just to see a one-on-one king of the court matchup and see how that turns out. So I think a lot of people will take a lot of joy in that.
I agree. And before we end off, I do agree with you. I would like King of the Court. I think that's the best thing they could possibly add. Just seeing your favorite players finally go one on one without the other 8 players being on the floor. But outside of that, yeah, just the dunk contest. You didn't talk about that. I do pick Carter Bryant to win the dunk contest. He was an athletic freak at Arizona. And I think just given his build and his athleticism and his creativity, I think he's going to take that baby home. We haven't seen him play this much this season in San Antonio, unfortunately, but it's expected for a team that's trying to win now. They're not really playing the young talent like that. Plus, he didn't even start at Arizona. He was drafted purely off the potential. So I'll pick Carter Bryant to win that dunk contest, most definitely. But going into our next topic of the night. Yeah, man, this one was pretty interesting. I was looking forward to this too. It's the 2026 NBA Hall of Fame list. It came out, not the finalists, just some of the people that are in consideration. It was a pretty interesting list. You saw players like Blake Griffin, Amari Stoudemire, Elena Della Dunn, who retired from the WNBA, of course. And we got coaches like Doc Rivers,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
I am interested to see who from this list might make it. But before we even dive into the opinions, how did you feel about the list? And do you think anyone on here is not worthy of a Hall of Fame induction?
No, I think they got it right, honestly. I mean, when you look at these players, they have achieved, or former players rather, but they have achieved a lot throughout their careers, and they brought forever lasting memories throughout their careers. So they've always made an impact in the NBA or in the WNBA in in some capacity. Um, but no, I think these people have really have earned that that blessing of being in the Hall of Fame. We know Blake Griffin and Amari Stoudemire very well. These guys were a force, um, in the NBA, and these guys were tough to guard. And I even for me, I never seen Amari Stoudemire, through a naked eye in person, but I have seen Blake Griffin. during the Joe Johnson and Josh Smith and Al Horford eras. I remember it was a home game when I went to, and it was the same night when Joe Johnson hit a half court shot. Um, a long time ago. But yeah, just seeing Blake Griffin out there and just really seeing, how huge he is and just how great of a player that he was back then. And he was, such a problem throughout his career and one of the best dunkers. I don't know if I would say he's one of the best dunkers of all time, but I will say he's up there for sure. Of course, the best moment as a dunker was when he dunked over Baron Davis when
Aaron
he was
Davis.
in a Kia car. So, but no, I think he's definitely deserved to be in it. So, no, I think they always get it right in a Hall of Fame. Every time when they have their classes announced. So, yeah, this is definitely a great list.
I agree. Um, I don't think there's anyone like I do personally. The ones I do want to see make it the most, I guess I could say, I want to see Mike D'Antoni make it. He has an illustrious career in terms of his coaching. If you really go down this Wikipedia page, it's super long in terms of the achievements he's had. Most of them were in Italy, they were in Europe, but I think he should make the Hall of Fame, not just the FIBA Hall of Fame. So I think he'd be great. Also, he was an assistant coach on those teams that brought home gold medals in 2008 and 2012. So I would like to see Mike D'Antoni make it. Like yeah, just his career overseas alone should put him in the Hall of Fame. Doc Rivers, obviously he's been crucified for his coaching record. He is an NBA champion, regardless whatever you want to say. Um, but a lot of people do feel like he had a really stacked team to get that win. And when he had another stacked and when he had another stacked team in Los Angeles, he didn't even make it past the second round, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So looking at his career, in terms of his win-loss record, it is 1,184 wins to 846 losses. Even from his days in Orlando to his days in Boston, that was his best team. He ended his tenure with a 416 to 305 coaching record in Boston, along with a championship on his finger. So I mean, like you could put him in the Hall of Fame, if he is on the list of the top 15 coaches in NBA history.
He'll get there
But
eventually.
yeah,
He'll get there
I
eventually.
and like I do think because could he make it like this year based on what he's done already in his career? I don't think so. Even with him being like a four-time All-Star game head coach, that last appearance, that was Adrian Griffin's appearance, and he took that from him, and the Bucks fell off a cliff after that. So I mean, I really do think that Doc is in recent years, he has struggled indeed. He won a coach of the year in 2000, so I get it, as a champion coach of the year, stuff like that. Um
Mhm.
I I just don't see why. I mean, if I feel like there's someone who's it's kind of 50-50, I think it's Doc Rivers. But do I think he should make it? I just I can't see him making it. But I'm not
You
trying
don't
to
think
say.
he's gonna make it at all?
I mean, right now, I think he'll get there, like what you said. But right now, like, because just purely off the coaching resume, he has a ring. He's an NBA Cup champion. He's a coach of the year, and he's a three-time NBA All-Star Game head coach. So, and it says right here, top 15 coaches in NBA history. So he'll probably make it off of that alone. But I think he should have more accolades under his belt. Before
Well,
like,
my whole thing is that I
uh,
think he's made an impact. As a player, of course, because he played in the
right.
NBA once before, once upon a time.
He's an All-Star.
Uh, yeah. So I think he's made more of an impact as a coach than a
Mhm.
player. But at the same time, uh, if you're trying to add like supporting details, you could, uh, blend in to his accolades or his achievements in NBA as a player. But I mean, to your point, like you say about him being shut out and not being successful, having not much success after Boston, we know that he did a solid job when he was with the Clippers, but after that, I mean, he's never, um, it's really all been a second round exit for him, or even a first round exit. So we all get that, but I guess in terms of his impact, on in the game, especially with Boston. I mean, he's coached. I mean, what, four Hall of Famers on that team?
Mhm.
When you talking about Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce,
Kevin
and
Garnett.
KG. I
Mhm.
mean, and to be honest with you, I mean, we seen. I wouldn't say worse, but we seen other things happen where just like question you if
Mhm.
this person is worthy of being a Hall of Fame or being a top 75 player. So I mean,
Right.
I think that would be, I wouldn't say an excuse, but I think that would help his case per se to
Mhm.
um, make it to Hall of Fame. Now it may not be this time around, but at some point, maybe after he retires from the NBA, then hopefully so. But I think he deserves it. So
Mhm. I think he should have to coach a little bit more. The biggest thing against him, first off, you made really great points with everything you said. Everything was 100% logical. I think the main thing holding Doc back right now is all those blown leads in the playoffs. All those blown leads from leading multiple times, being up 3-1, whether it was 3-2 or like anything like 3-0. I don't think he's blown a 3-0 lead. That's never happened before. But yeah, like he's blown multiple leads in the playoffs, choked a bunch of times, when it was time to make it through. And that's him. That was him being out coached, in my opinion. Like, someone just being a
that
better
is true.
tactic, a
That
better
is
tech,
true.
just being a better tactician, a better strategist than Doc Rivers. When that's happened numerous occasions, I think you really have to prove yourself a little bit more and show that, like, I mean, like how you said, it was 4 Hall of Famers. You better have got it done. I
Well,
mean, I mean,
of course, yeah, but I mean, it's not just that though. But I mean, you got to
mhm.
understand is that they won that championship against the Lakers. Now,
Lakers, right? You're
come on
right,
now. I mean, it ain't. I
right.
mean, I guess. I mean, honestly, if anything, it's not just about how many Hall of Famers that he had just in that situation, but it's more so of like, okay, you had four Hall of
Mhm,
Famers, and was any of them, maybe I think KG was during that time, but
mhm,
were any of them a top 10 player or just as good as Kobe during that series? Because we all know the Lakers were that was a team to beat in almost every year. So
I
my whole
thought
thing is that okay, yeah, he had four Hall of Famers and you were able to beat the Lakers when the Lakers were have always been like the best, in my opinion, the best team in all of the NBA. I mean, we know it's the Celtics and the Lakers that have, um, I guess, paved the way or made the NBA the way it is because they are the two most successful teams in the league in terms of championships. But I just think that if when you not only do you have four Hall of Famers, but the Lakers have multiple Hall of Famers on that team as well.
right.
So they may not have always been as good as Kobe, but
Mhm,
you were able to beat Kobe, who was the best team in that series, and people could say the best player in the
right.
league during that time. So
Mhm.
people will take that as context too.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, that's his biggest achievement. He does have a champion
Yeah.
ring on his finger. So, you can never say he hasn't won the big game and stuff. I do think that they're gonna take into consideration the blown leads, unfortunately. But the ring should out.
Yeah.
It's powerful. The ring is powerful. The ring holds more weight than any loss he's ever taken. So, like I said, he's already on the list for top 15 coaches in NBA history. So I think it depends. Give my final answer on it. I think off everything I've listed, I'm not gonna be ignorant. I do think he will indeed make it. I just think out of all the ones on that list, I think that's the one I'm kind of like side, kind of iffy with, but I do want to see Kelvin Sampson make it as well, the Houston Cougars coach. Um, really, really, really been proud of his career, just everything he's done, and like, yeah, I really do think he's a great coach. He has another great team this year with Kingston Flemings, an outstanding coaching record with 820
Fleming's
wins.
been going off this year. I gotta give the
Yeah,
kid credit. Sheesh.
hell yeah, and like that, and
Yeah.
like, and we've seen the encouragement that Kelvin Sampson is giving Kingston Flemings a potential hawk,
Yeah, he may be a
So
future hog. Yeah.
you
Hmm.
could never know. I will
Yeah, we
take
future
him.
hog.
I would take him all day. I don't care
Yeah,
if it's the
that's
fifth pick. I'll
yeah.
take him all day.
Yeah, that
Period.
brother know how to get to the rim quick.
For real. And but yeah, that's probably the last guy I do want to see make it. Just because his record, it's truly illustrious. With 820 wins to 357 losses. It's been truly phenomenal. He has been on NBA benches before as an assistant coach, like with the Rockets, but he left the Rockets to coach the Cougars in 2014, which is where he's been the last 12 years. So I think that's the last guy I did want to mention. I would like to see Kelvin Sampson, just get back, make the Hall of Fame just off what he's done so far. He's made great players even greater, and I think that's only Hall of Fame coaches that are able to do that. So I would like to see Mr. Sampson make it. But outside of that, he's got to see more time go on. These are the finalists. It's not the final list yet. I think the ones that are guarantees for sure, Elena Della Dunn, 100% is making the Hall of Fame. The former MVP. I think she's a two-time MVP. Elena Della Dunn. Not yeah, two-time MVP, indeed, and a champion. So she for certain is going to make it. Amari Stoudemire, that'd be cool. He's a six-time All-Star. Was all NBA level at one point, but six-time All-Stars was his best achievement. It'd be nice to see him make it. I think Blake Griffin should make it only because his career only was hindered by injuries. He was one of the greatest rookies we've ever seen play the game, and I think he lived up to the hype coming out of Oklahoma, especially after being injured that whole first year. And he came out in his first official year that next year. He's averaged 22 points and 12 rebounds a game for the Clippers. So really, really showed he was going to be a superstar out the gate and was a superstar until again getting hurt. So
There are two guys that I want to see, and
mhm.
I don't know if both of them are going to be there, but at least one of them, either Jamal Crawford or Lou Williams. I would
Yeah.
like to see both, but at least one. Now, if I had to pick, I'd go, with my boy Jamal Crawford, because I mean, it's not just the crossover, but it's more so of the fact that when you talk about the best six man, he has to be up there for sure. So we know both guys have been very successful six man of the year players, not just them two, but also guys such as Manu Ginobili as well. And really Jamal Crawford, I think it's really hard to really think about who has the best killer crossover. We hear Jamal, we hear Kyrie Irving, but it's just more so. I don't think we've had another six man of the year to go into a Hall of Fame. It's been a minute, if my memory serves me correctly,
Kevin
but
McHale, I think was like the last one to win six man of the
Kevin
year
McHale,
and like all that, be a Hall of Famer.
right,
Not a
right.
six man, but he won six man of the
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. So I think they had to throw one in here, but I'm not trying to push anybody off. So of course they're gonna. I'm pretty sure they'll do it right. But I mean, when you talk about these two guys in our eras, in terms of just impact and how they've uplifted our teams, even like for the Hawks, I mean, Jamal Crawford has been really like that ever since he was here and hitting clutch baskets and game winners. I mean, he's been literally a spark plug for Atlanta, and I really wish Lou Williams was had a longer career in Atlanta, but I
Mhm.
know his career here was cut short mainly due to his ACL injury that he tore against Brooklyn. I forgot what year it was, but by means is the fact that they made that kept up with that same impact throughout the entire league. It wasn't where he was just good with this team or that team. They played a major impact in all the teams that they played. So I think they're one of the most impactful 6 man of the year players of all time. So I
Mhm.
would like to see one of them be inducted this year, but if not, eventually they'll get in.
I agree, man. Most definitely. Yeah, man, brought back some memories with that, Lou Will. Most definitely. He went to LA after that. Was a Clipper. Was a
Yep.
great Clipper. That's funny because they were both Clippers.
Crazy work.
The
Crazy
six
work.
man of the year Clippers. Real
Crazy.
shit.
Hmm.
But yeah, going into our last topic of the evening, we had to talk about this. be
Yeah,
be kind of
we had
dramatic,
to. Yeah,
most
we had to.
definitely. We are
Yep.
a basketball podcast, but as men, naturally we like fighting as well. And for those of you who were sitting there, I forgot what night it took place, but it was recently. The Charlotte Hornets were playing the Detroit Pistons, and I think it was the score was 70-62. It must have been like in the like the near like the second quarter, beginning of the third. And Jalen Duren and Musa Diabate, the big men for both respective ball clubs, went head to head. Like multiple players do, many players have done. Forehead to forehead, talking shit, whatever, whatever. But Jalen Duren takes it a step further and he mushes Musa Diabate, mushes him in his face, like, yo, get off me. You're not worth my time. That made Diabate a maniac after that occurred. He was fighting through multiple teammates, multiple trainers, multiple referees trying to get to him. He threw a punch at him. He missed. You could tell he was really trying every fiber of his being to get around all of his teammates, try to get to Jalen Duren. You see Duren just backing up like, obviously during not saying he was scared or anything, he obviously would have thrown a punch or whatever, whatever. But he knew he messed up off the rip by mushing him like that. And then like everything just went to shit. Like you see, everyone try to get into the middle. Kate Cunningham's trying to break it up. Diabate refuses to be held. And he's just it's probably one of the angriest I've ever seen an NBA player live in a game before, to be quite honest. He was truly, 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 truly very upset. I see now that they have history. I watched a video last night. They've been beefing since high school. Like, when Jalen Duren was on Montverde and they were talking shit during that game. So, I mean, this has been a thing. They've always competed against each other, and now you're both on the world stage, and everyone saw that what took place. Now, the biggest thing for me about it was just so many layers to it. You see Isaiah Stewart, he flies off the bench. He wasn't even in the game. He runs into the scuffle, just starts throwing punches. Him and Miles Bridges
Oh,
square
no,
up.
no, 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 no.
Like, for real. There's just so many different angles, so many different layers. And you see Miles Bridges and Isaiah Stewart square up. I think I forgot, someone started pulling hair. Um, and then that's when like all the refs really got in between. And Miles Bridges went back to his bench after that. But you see Bridges go on Instagram after the game. And he says, "Oh, their enforcer was pulling hair and stuff. He wasn't trying to box for real, and stuff, stuff like that." It was just funny seeing them really square up in the middle of a game. But all jokes aside, everyone knew there were about to be massive ramifications for this. It's pretty interesting. The suspensions were handed out rather quickly. I thought it'd be at least a day or two before the NBA really decides what punishment they wanted to give out. But it was pretty swift. Isaiah Stewart got the most suspensions. He got a 7-game suspension. Unfortunately, Musa Diabate and Miles Bridges, the teammates, both got 4-game suspensions. And this was the part that kind of threw me for a loop. One of the reasons why I really wanted to talk about it. Jalen Duren only got a 2-game suspension, but he started the whole thing. So I can't really, unless it's all-star privilege or something like that, I can't tell you why he would not receive at least a 4-game suspension. He was the one that started the whole thing. Players go forehead to forehead. all the time, literally all the time. So I mean, the fact that he mushed him like that, and the dude who starts it only gets a 2-game suspension, I can't tell you why. I thought Musa had every right to react that way. I think the NBA they were picking favorites. Adam Silver was picking favorites. They know they make a lot of money off Jalen Duren
If I
playing.
recall, but Duran, he wasn't really. I mean, even though he may have started the fight, but I don't think it's where he was
He
really
backed up.
trying
He
to
backed
like.
out of it for
Yeah,
certain. Like he definitely was trying to
it wasn't like
de-escalate
he
right
was really
away.
like throwing hands like everybody else was. So I think
Right.
that's why he received
Like,
the least amount of consequences out of that. So
for sure. Nah, and even and when you put it that way, it makes perfect sense. I can't act like it doesn't. I just feel for Musa, because he got mushed and I mean, man, like you're supposed to sit there and take it. Like,
well
come
now
on.
Diabate, he's been a little a hothead
I had,
at least this past week because he even got into it with a Kongwu. I think
yeah.
it was last week. I was like, yo, like it ain't even that deep, man. Like even when I saw the play, like it was just like, of course, what I mean, it's the NBA. Well, of course, things will get physical and stuff, but Diabate, he's been getting into it with a couple of players, over this last week. So I don't know what his
Mhm.
issue is.
And even go over and over the suspension, starting with Isaiah Stewart. You could tell, man. I honestly feel bad for Stu because you could tell he was trying really hard to turn a new leaf. There was multiple games I've seen him get fouled really hard and him show like no reaction. He's just trying whatever he can to stay calm. Because they're probably talking to him about
Now,
that in the
Beast too.
back.
He been fighting. He done fought everybody around the league. He got blood on
Seriously.
his face, man. Trying to fight LeBron. He been
Mhm.
getting to a lot of people.
I just think once he saw he was getting drafted to Detroit, he wanted to embrace the city in itself as a whole. And I do think the Pistons fans, they probably love Isaiah Stewart. He is a great player on paper, a serviceable backup center. It just sucks, man. I don't think the Pistons are gonna get rid of him anytime soon. He is a great piece of their core. Like I said, he's still a great piece. And a teammate, you want a teammate like that. His teammates will campaign to keep him on the roster because they like having him there to always be an enforcer, always back them up. You want someone who has that physicality in the game. You need pieces like that to win a championship. Even Detroit has always had pieces like that from Rick Mahorn. I mean, man, like Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, like any dudes that could be aggressive, play great defense, all that. Like always had pieces like that. That's what's given Detroit or made Detroit.
Hmm.
So starting out what I said,
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Oh, where yeah, and like even when Isaiah, he got 7 games. That's a long fucking time, man. That's a lot of
Yeah.
time to be missing. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was pretty egregious to give him a 7-game suspension. Going off Bobby Marks, his reporting, it immediately translated to $724,138 loss for Isaiah Stewart.
I
Not
do want
even
to
a.
mention. I do want to
Mhm.
mention this real quick here. So this is actually kind of breaking news. So the NBA has fined the Utah Jazz $500,000
Wow.
and the Pacers $100,000 relating to the management of their rosters for recent games. So basically, this is coming from uh, tanking teams,
Mhm.
setting out players such as Jaren Jackson Jr. that they just acquired and Laurie marketing. That's kind of been a theme over these past few days where you having these tanking teams setting out players that could be playing. So now is where they being fined for a big chunk of money now. But anyways, you go ahead.
No, that's all good, man. Yeah, that was great reporting as you're supposed to, man. Breaking news as always.
Yep.
Um, and man, like, as my friend was talking to me about that, like the tanking and stuff like that. Like, can you really blame these teams for doing that? Like, I mean, this is a transcendent draft class, in multiple ways, given all the players that we're about to obtain that we have the potential to get. So I just think people got to understand, like, if people keep wondering why these teams are tanking, like. I mean, why wouldn't you? And that's the thing for me. I was thinking about it today, actually, when I was at my side hustle. I was thinking, like, man, like, I really hope Joe Dumars does not lose his job, man. And I'm being so serious when I say that,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
that Pelicans pick, I think if they see it, go to like a top 3, top man. Like
I
that's
don't think I don't think he'll get fired for that. But if anything, I think it would be like at least a strike one or two, honestly.
has
But
to.
yeah, but I even for like for me, to it's kind of I'm kind of 50-50 on it. So can you blame them for that? Not necessarily, because to your point, especially in this draft, this is the best draft we've seen in years. So I can
Years,
understand
yo.
that. But at
Like
the same time, you can you can see it from the NBA's perspective that okay, even though that you are not a team that's going to win a significant amount of games, you still want to be competitive to some degree. So it's not where you just want to set out players and intentionally lose. Now, honestly, if the Indiana Pacers and the Utah Jazz are going to do that, I mean, we know we wouldn't mind that if the Pelicans were doing that. Sure, go and sit down Jordan Poole, even though he hasn't been playing as of late. But sit out Zion, sit out Trey Murphy, sit out Sadiq Bey. Please do. You're doing us a favor, but we know that they're not. So, but at the same time, with other teams, you're intentionally trying to lose, and that's just how it's more of a trend now of how teams are strategically thinking. Okay, how are we going to uh, basically tank and hopefully we get a top draft pick. And I think that's what the NBA has been doing as of late. When I say as of late, meaning the last few years when it comes to the draft lottery. Okay, you can have the worst record in the league, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get the number one overall pick. So now it's where, hey, we're just reminding y'all, like, hey, it's not gonna work. The next time you're gonna do it, you're gonna catch another fine. So I can understand it, but I guess for me, I don't like it because I want the Pelicans to lose as much as possible, and of course we know why. But I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money. I've never seen any NBA team get fined for $500,000 for sitting out a couple of guys. And what's funny is that Triple J just went under season-ending surgery.
yep,
So,
Utah.
but I mean, for Laurie Marketing, I mean that's one thing because he's not hurt or anything. So, but
Yeah, man, and like it's so much to unpack with that, man, because this is one of the rare drafts. Like you can have a top 10 pick, you can have pick 9, and get a Keaton Wagler, someone like that. Get a Tunde Yesosufu. I don't mess his last name up.
mm,
The shooting of the guard for Baylor. He just had 34 points. The same game. AJ DeBonta had 36. So Tunde's having
yeah,
a great season as well. So we know it's a bunch of great players in this draft. Um, and I think people should get used to this, honestly, in terms of the tanking. Now, it won't be this drastic, like how it is this year, because all these players are trying whatever they can to get one of those potential all-stars, especially in that top 4, trying to get like a Caleb Wilson or a Cameron Boozer or something like that. So I think it makes sense, but I think it's bad for the league, though. It's just certain teams, you feel me? Not the certain teams we don't expect to see in the playoffs, stuff like that, like Utah, like Brooklyn. Teams like that. Not yet, at least, because Utah is definitely well on their way. And I think Brooklyn, I think their curse finally breaks this summer. I got a friend who's from Brooklyn, New
I
Jersey.
agree. Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
and I've been talking to him and I've been saying, like, man, I think y'all finally get, like, this year, y'all gonna get a top 4 pick. I think the Nets finally get that player they build around, not just a bunch of good pieces. Now you're gonna get that because they haven't had a star in Brooklyn. And I don't think they've ever had like a young superstar player, like a player that was drafted on the team, homegrown. Like, nah, 2012, it was Paul Pierce and all those dudes. Mid 2015s, Deron Williams and this
Yeah,
and that.
yeah, they haven't because they've built around. Well, they traded for KG and Paul
And then they
Pierce, and then
had the
after
whole Kevin
that,
Durant,
then
James
Kevin
Harden.
Durant, James Harden. That's another team that should have won a championship, but that's for another conversation. So yeah, I mean, yeah, they haven't drafted, and that's crazy too. Yeah, in a way, but yeah, they hope that they get a top 4, top 5 pick this year because after that, they owe their pick next year at least to the Suns.
Suns.
So they can't afford to tank or be bad. I mean, who knows what they're gonna do in the off season, but I mean, if anything, they're definitely going to look to try to win as much as possible. So,
Mhm.
hopefully
And
they will get a top 4 pick or a top 5. So,
I agree. I agree.
yeah,
I think, and when with the way this team is made, they can draft any position and build around that player. They could draft a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power. Literally does not matter. I do think Brooklyn's gonna get like the third, fourth pick. I truly do think they're
don't
gonna
say that.
finally.
Don't say
I mean,
that.
yo, I think the Hawks are gonna get
They
higher.
they they got to make room. They got to make room for us. They got to make room for
For
us
sure. Most definitely.
because
Man,
looking at between New Orleans and Sacramento.
it's neck and neck, yeah.
Oh man, now I'm getting a little worried, but
Me too. Because they've been
we
winning
should be okay.
lately.
Yeah, we should be okay. But
Mhm.
I mean, we have until May, so we're kind of halfway there through February, so we don't have too much longer. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. So
Mhm.
I honestly can't wait for the draft lottery. So
Mhm. And
yeah,
yeah, man, like that too. I try so hard not to talk about the because it's such a tease. And man, like I'm sitting there, I'm in group chat, not group chats. I'm in live chats. Some YouTube basketball content creators I watch and stuff like that. I'm seeing dudes in those chats saying the Hawks are gonna get a 5 to 10 pick. It's not gonna be top five. It's gonna be a lot more teams with worse records than the Pelicans. I don't believe that. It all comes down to just percentage and chance. The Pelicans are one of the worst teams, like literally one of the worst teams in the league. So I'm honestly just ready to see the draft lottery. It's like every podcast, we talk about it at least a little bit. And it's honestly to be expected with a draft class like this. This is one of the greatest draft classes I've ever seen on paper. Out of my 26 years of living, it truly is remarkable. Seeing how many players are in here. When you have a top four, like a Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ, when you have all those players all in the top three, and then you have a Caleb Wilson to boot who's played great in that Duke versus UNC game on the same stage as Cameron Boozer. He arguably had a better game because he was more efficient than Cam Boozer. So I think
hmm
it's a lot going on with the 2026 season. It's a paradigm shift that's happening this year. It's poetic because we are approaching the next decade. We're finally at the second half of this decade, so it's only right that we do have this crop of talent come in. And I think this might be because the 2021 draft class, that was the best class of this generation. But I think the 2026 draft class, it's hard, man, because the 2021 was deep, man, like incredibly deep. So when it comes to 26, like I think that it's super the top heaviness of that draft, I think is better than the 2021. I think all three of those players are going to be stars. Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBonsa, and Darren Peterson. And again, Caleb Wilson is phenomenal. So I mean, it truly is. It's crazy when you see. I'll say this one is different because we know how good these players are already. Franz Wagner doesn't go number 8. Jalen Johnson doesn't go pick 20. If that's
yeah. If you do a redraft, yeah, definitely a top 5, definitely top 5, no
like
question.
JJ is at least the third overall pick. Seeing what
hmm
he's doing right now, he's at least the third overall pick in that
Yeah,
draft. So, like, yeah, man, like I do think that this is probably the most guaranteed star-driven draft we've had, at least in the last 10 years, counting the 18 draft, 19 draft, 17 draft. I can think of all those number one picks off the top of my head. Um, outside of like because I mean 2018 had SGA, Trey, Luca. Again, 2021, sure. 2020, that was Anthony. But I do think 2026, this is going to be the draft that gives us the stars we're going to see when me and you are like in our mid 30s and stuff like that, like Wiley and Jay, most definitely. So,
oh, don't say
um,
that, 'cause I know they watching. They gonna cuss you on the stream.
nah, I mean, hey, man, getting older is a blessing last time I checked. Most definitely. But that's it for me, Garrett. If that's all you got for episode 97 of Young Commentators. As always, a pleasure to do this with you.
Of course, my brother. You know, we always like to do this for, with you guys, and be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment to the channel, and be sure to use that QR code, and subscribe to our channel and check out everything that we do. But yeah,
Mhm.
tonight was a really good show, and yeah, looking forward to All Star weekend, and then after that, then everyone is back to work because we got the playoffs that's right around the corner. So we have teams that are fighting for a playoff spot, and we have bottom teams that are trying to make the best way possible to get top picks. So there's a lot of a lot of momentum going down. So, but like I said, we're gonna be doing this every night, and we always appreciate your guys, your love, and your support. And so yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and y'all take it easy.
God bless you. Stay safe.
They gave me my theme music. They gave me my theme music.